The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it's Friday, TGIF.
TGIF. Well, we got to start with something that's funny as all hell. Funny as all get-go. How many people watched the park board meeting? And if you haven't watched it yet, please go online and watch it, or watch it as soon as it comes on Fall River Government Television. We found out, and we've known this for a couple of weeks now, right, Chip?
Yes, we have.
That somebody was buried in the wrong grave.
You mean by the
cemetery?
By the park department, it's got a new head that knows absolutely nothing about the job he got for, right?
Chris Pereño, and according to rumor...
Haven't we heard that name before in other jobs?
Other jobs too, yes. But according to rumor, the mistake was made because Chris Pereño was cutting grass, which I don't believe. But you never know. The rumor mill got long. But Patrick Higgins went to the park board meeting, sat there and said, I don't like rumors, or I don't like innuendo, or something along that line. And he says, and I want to put an end to it right now. I understand that there was a body buried in the wrong grave, and I want to know who here knew about it. They all said I knew nothing about it. And then one of the park board members, Helen Rigo, turned around and said, but the family wanted to keep it quiet.
But
Wait
they didn't know.
Wait a minute.
The family wants to keep it quiet, but we don't know anything about it. Okay.
I know nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
Yeah. Schultz. We got Schultz on the board. And look, that's what the city does every time they get caught, doing what they do, which is being totally incompetent, covering up everything.
Right.
And that's what they say. Oh, it was a mistake. I forgot. We don't know anything about that. Well, we still don't know anything. We still don't know the full story on the 22 windows. We'll never know the true story about anything. We still don't know what happened to money that was misappropriated and put in the wrong accounts. I requested 2 years ago the $44,000 of employee money that was put in the employer account, and I wanted the tracking of it. And I still haven't received a response. So it's, we can't find it. The records have been destroyed. Aliens came down and beamed it aboard their spaceship, or whatever ridiculous thing they use. But the bottom line is, it's become very, very quiet in the city of Fall River, because what they're doing is, they're just keeping a nice lid on everything, and they're going about their business, taking as much money, making as much money, and increasing your taxes and fees for the future as quietly as they can. And they're not making any waves. There's no headlines, no anything, because nobody looks into them.
Well, you can tell that because
Patrick went there, and he asked the question, and again, they can't even keep their mouths shut. They can't even all get their story straight. It's like, we don't know anything about it, but wait a minute, the family wants to keep it quiet. Well,
here's the thing. And, Patrick just sent me a message saying, it's available online. Yes, I already said it's available online, so I want people to go into FRG TV, and you can watch it online, or you can watch it as soon as it airs on government television on Channel 18. But here's the kicker. That wasn't the only mishap that happened. Carlos Caesar went to the park board and said, I want to know where this money is to finish my project, the Father Travasso's project. And they don't know anything about it. We don't have a contract. They knew absolutely nothing about it.
Wasn't it on a city council agenda?
Yes, it was.
Wait a minute, but they don't know anything about it.
And the money was transferred to them.
Oh, my Lord. It's amazing when you have, it's called the ostrich approach. You stick your head in the sand and you only pull it out when you want to do something that you want. We don't know anything, even though the council actually heard that appropriation.
Right.
It went before the council, but the park knows nothing about it. So you're telling me the park board members weren't aware that an appropriation for something that they have direct control over, they're the park board, knows absolutely nothing about something that went in front of the city council and is there on an agenda that you can look up. But they don't know anything about it. Again, political appointments that don't show up, and even if they do show up, they're probably in a coma.
And some of those appointments are illegal because they're in violation of the charter.
That's right. But who cares about
the charter? It doesn't matter.
There you go again, CJ. Damn, you and that stuff, you expect them to abide by the laws. Only we have to abide by the law.
That's right.
That's right. They don't have to abide
But, you know, what's really interesting is Carlos found out that the contractor who did the Father Travasso's park
or didn't do it.
Or didn't do it.
Didn't do it.
Is also the contractor who's not doing the Purchase Street project right. And then we'll see if the Purchase Street project gets finished.
And what does the city do?
They hire him again.
They hire him again. And even though the city went to court to stop him, then they lost again. Our law department that we pay all this money to, who basically hires outside attorneys to represent them, again lost another case, and we're paying, we're getting, hey, Joe, look, Joe's working part-time. What the hell, 100 grand? He just got a pay raise. He was getting 90. Now he's getting 100 grand for his part-time job. So he's walking away with a couple of, a cool $250,000 in pensions, or nearly $250,000, while he does absolutely nothing. They win absolutely nothing. And all he does is fashion opinions, convoluted opinions to support the mayor's positions on everything. Should we just contract all legal services out and eliminate the law department? I'm in favor of that, because we have absolutely, it's gone on far too long, and now it's ridiculous. At least in the old days, we had a full-time corporation counsel. At least they made it look like they were doing a job. He was a full-timer. Now we got a part-timer getting full-time wages in a city that he's making almost 5 times what the individual income is by their own admission many times. So again, if you're really happy with the way the city is being administered, good. Let's spend some more money. So, kudos to Carlos Caesar for going up there and bringing this into the public light. Kudos to Patrick for going over there and making, because, if you don't have, you can complain all you want about, call them contrarians, call them anarchists, call them iconoclasts, call them whatever you want. But the fact is, without them, you'd never know the real story about anything in this city. This city is so ridiculously corrupt, it's incredible. And you only know, this is only the tip of the iceberg. That's why every time you say forensic audit,
they have a heart attack.
They all have a heart attack. They start running around and throw their hands over their ears and cover their eyes. And it's like, oh, my God, forensic means criminal. We can't. No. Well, of course, it doesn't mean that, number one, as we've said a million times on the show. A forensic audit is an audit. It's just an audit. But it's an audit that makes sure they comply with the law.
That's right.
About it, how they do, what they do with their money. And if they did that in this city, they'd all be in jail, because all the way back in '91, when we sued them, when they took almost $2 million of employee money, put it in their fund, then covered it up. I found it. We went to arbitration. We proved it. We hired Ernst & Young. And you know what their defense was in '91? Oh, it was just a mistake. We took almost $2 million of your money that by statute, and I'll give you the statute, Chapter 32B of the Mass General Laws, mandates that employee money is totally segregated from employer money and has to be put in an interest-bearing account. And even though that statute existed long before these people were probably even born, they took that money that was payroll deduction money from employees and stuck it in an employer account. And did it over the course of 7 years.
Somebody needed coffee.
and then testified under oath that they backdated checks from one fiscal year, another thing that's illegal. And what happened? Their defense, oh, it was a mistake. It'll never happen again. It'll never happen again. Never, never, never. We're going to fix everything we promise. We're going to fix everything. We're going to make them whole. We're going to give them 3 months free Blue Cross and an $18 premium reduction for the rest of the year to pay every city employee all the money that we stole from them. Oh, we didn't steal it. We misappropriated it. We just made a mistake. But we're fixing it. 1991. Mark that down right now, 1991. Then about 5 years later, they found 5 accounts that had been dormant for 25 years in the insurance accounts. Are we doing the audit that also is mandated by 32B?
No, we did reconciliations.
No, we did an audit. And who did those audits?
Mary Sahadi.
Hagen Sahadi. Did we find those accounts for 25 years? No, they were dormant. And then in 2008, guess what? They did the same thing that they did in 91, even though they promised that arbitrator that it was just a mistake and they'd make us whole. So the arbitrator said, okay, you guys, you know, they're making you whole, so they're abiding by their obligation, so, you know, they're entitled to their mistake. Did they fix it? No. They're still screwing up money. 2 years ago, there were $44,000 in the wrong accounts again. And these people are making 100 G's. $100,000 in a city where people are making $22,000. And they continue to make these positions and put people in who are not doing a job with no consequences. And without people like Patrick, without people like Carlos Caesar bringing this to light, we'd never know. But now we have to take the next step after knowing this. I'm not making this up. I got the depositions. The arbitration is a matter of record in 91 and 08. The 5 accounts that were dormant are a matter of record. City council went before the council. But the second step is, after you're aware of this, how, in good conscience, can you sit at home in an election or get up to go vote the same people in who are allowing you to be raped and pillaged? It boggles my mind. It does.
Well, as they say, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Yeah.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
And I always I was never in favor of term limits. I was never in favor of things. But, the old adage that you get the government that you deserve is never more appropriate than it is in Fall River.
Of course.
We get the government we deserve. People like us who go out there and vote, not on personalities. I may like some of these people who are doing a crappy job. I may have a beer with them. I may have a burger with them. But I'm not gonna keep them in office if they're not working for me. That's their job. It's like me keeping an auto mechanic that can't fix my car. It doesn't make any damn sense. So, I don't know. Let's hope that someday, that when we give all these people, let's say it's online, it's available, go look at the park board meeting. Listen to them, watch them. Watch the fact that they deny everything, and then somebody says, well, the family wants to keep it. Watch them. Pay attention to these things that go back decades. We're talking 91. And they're still doing it now. And they promised in 91 that they would fix it, and they never fix anything in the city. What they do is, the guy who's not fixing it now is making a hell of a lot more than the person that was screwing it up in 91.
That's it.
That's the only difference.
And just remember, if you have a loved one who's passed away and you're going to bury them in Oak Grove Cemetery, stand by the body until you know it's in the right grave.
That's right. But then again, maybe we can hire somebody that worked in in the food and beverage industry next to be in charge of the cemeteries.
That's
I
it.
don't
Yeah,
know.
of course. Hey, after the casino opens in Tiverton, what does Massachusetts want to do? They want to reopen the Region C casino area, which we're in Region C.
That's right.
And they're opening up a 2-month window for state regulators, want people in the gaming world and residents of southeastern Massachusetts to weigh in on a variety of issues surrounding a possible third full-scale casino in the state before deciding whether or not to formally relaunch the bidding process. So it doesn't matter what you think. They decide if they're going to relaunch the bidding process.
Yeah, they're going to relaunch it, and they're going to take forever because in Massachusetts it takes forever to get anything done because one of the primary requisites is that they make sure they get all their relatives employed or all their contractors working, and they make as much money off the project as they can. Heaven forbid Massachusetts or Rhode Island ever do anything which will help the taxpayers. It's like it's like sports betting. As soon as the Supreme Court made the ruling, Jersey went sports book in,
That's right.
bang, wham, damn. You can go to New Jersey right now and bet. They're making millions of dollars. There's a projected $10 million bump in the Rhode Island economy right at the beginning of sports betting.
Which is November, I believe.
Which is November. And they're dragging their feet because it's been in since basically right after the Supreme Court in Jersey. But now Massachusetts, it'll be another 2 years, maybe 3 years before they get anything done because the politicians are too busy taking care of their own. You know, they don't care about getting some revenue for people, getting jobs and everything else, you know. And you got all the anti-casino whiners talking about how the casino in Tiverton's too small, it's smoky. Well, guess what? You know, the bottom line is the one up in Springfield, I think, took in $10 million in profit the first week it was open.
Exactly.
And how many thousands of jobs did it create?
Right.
You know, hey, you anti-gambling people, I hate to tell you this, but if you're really anti-gambling, you should be down picketing your local bodega. Because guess what? If you're really anti-gambling, if you're truly anti-gambling, you should be against scratch tickets, you should be against bingo, and you should be against the Massachusetts lottery.
That's right.
Because in reality, a local casino will bring far more money to the community that it's in and the area that it's in than a lottery ever will. Because do you know the Massachusetts lottery? You know the people who spend the most money on a lottery? The poorest cities. You know what the leading cities in Massachusetts are for spending money on a lottery? Fall River and New Bedford.
That's right.
And you know who gets a disproportionate share of the lottery? We do. We spend the most and proportionally get the least. You know who makes the best out of the lottery? That's why they fought casinos so long, because they want the lottery. You know who gets all the money? The people who don't play the lottery. Places like Newton and Wellesley. They get a ton of lottery money. A disproportionate amount considering what they spend on a lottery. Why? Because they're rich and they control the legislature. The lottery is a pot of gold for communities that don't really play the lottery.
That's right.
At least a local casino would bring jobs and revenue to the local area. But, you know, like I said, if you're really opposed to gambling, and I will support that position. If you tell me that you're not in favor of the lottery, you're not in favor of bingo, you're not in favor of scratch tickets. Because if you're in favor of any of those, you're in favor of gambling. And don't give me the casinos bringing a whole, undesirable. You know, casinos are created to bring people in and keep them in there. They're not going to, and there were probably more arrests at the Tiverton Casino already than there have been in Tiverton in the last 5 years. If you get rowdy in a casino, you're gone.
And most of them are from Fall River.
That's right. So, if you get rowdy, try that in Vegas, try that in Vegas. Get a little rowdy in a casino, and, the safest place to be in Las Vegas is around the casino because they got tons and tons of security because they want an environment that people feel safe in and will spend their money.
Exactly. Well, $90,000
Yep.
earmarked for traffic equipment upgrades in Fall River, and State Rep Carol Fiola said she did it.
Wow.
State Rep Carol Fiola earmarked and advocated for and received $90,000 in the fiscal 2019 budget for the Fall River Police Department traffic equipment upgrades. As part of the project, overhead signals, controllers, and signal brackets at various intersections and schools will be upgraded.
Okay.
All the intersections and schools included in this project are Bedford Street and Troy and High Street. That's right by the Central Fire Station. Bedford and Rock Street. Bedford and North Main Street. Durfee and Central Street. Fonseca School and the Morton Middle School.
Back page, explanation, retirement. No, election cycle. Election cycle.
Yep.
Headline: more money. I got you the money. Election cycle.
Yep.
Where was the money last year? The year before? Well, it's an election cycle. Let me put my Facebook page, my elect page, and everything else. It's politics.
That's right.
Hey. Money's money. Take the money, spend the money, get your contractors, the ones that already screwed up one job, rehire them. You got $90K to dish out now for some other people. So,
well, a search for a new economic development director begins anew. We're starting the process all over again.
Yeah, let's start and the salary just $90,000 to $130,000 for the city with the worst economy in the state, and you're not going to fix it by hiring somebody because, like I said, we know how it's fixed. We know. I mean, even Gina Raimondo's running. I had 3,000 jobs that we got job training for. People got trained to go to work at Electric Boat and here and there. You know, look. These people are so full of crap. We have no workforce left. Why do you think we only got 12 people or 16 people employed in Amazon? They have no job skills, no education. There's 10 million jobs in the United States that are going unfilled because they don't have the technical ability to do the job. You get a job today, all the jobs that require there are only so many dishwasher jobs, pizza delivery, and Chinese food delivery jobs in the city. If you have no skill or education, you won't get a job. We shouldn't be getting an economic. It's not rocket science. We've had these training consortiums for years in this city. They're just doing an absolutely crap job. What do they train you to be? A phlebotomist? What is there? 7 million phlebotomists in the world?
And the minimum wage job.
At minimum wage job, exactly. Do they train them to be welders? Do they train them in technical fields? Give them you don't have to be an engineer. There are very, very teachable skills for people.
Hey, I'll tell you right now, I just had to put in a new hot water tank. You know how much it costs? $1,100 for a plumber to come out and put in a hot water tank.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, if you can be a plumber, because they're making more than some people with PhDs in certain fields.
Exactly.
They're making more than a PhD in psychology. A good plumber is making about 4 times what a PhD is making in many of the fields. So, this is crap. Giving somebody else another job, another window dressing. We've had how many economic development programs? How many agencies in charge of economic development? How many training at places have we had? We had that one down at the corner of Pleasant and Troy, I think. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Is that still there? I don't even know.
No, I don't.
I know it's totally useless because nobody ever got. What did they get? About 12 jobs in the last 25 years.
Well, I think what's interesting. What I think is interesting is the fact that Kathy Ann Viveris actually said, we do have some potential candidates. We have some candidates, but we really wanted a larger field. We're going for a broader pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. A broader pool of what? Idiots who want to give me job? Another one who kisses the mayor's butt to get a job?
What broader pool means is the person they wanted to apply hasn't applied yet. They got to talk to him a little bit more.
Yeah, and make sure that he gives $1,000 to the mayor's
this economic account. And let's look at this screening committee, chaired by who else?
Jazel Correa.
Jazel Correa II. It was assembled by him, City Councilor Cliff Ponte, City Councilor Steve Long. Well, that's Jazel Correa, Redevelopment Authority Chairwoman, wasn't she appointed by Jazel?
By Jazel.
Oh, okay. And Authority Member, who were appointed by him?
Yep.
Yeah. This committee, except for maybe Cliff Ponte, who, if he doesn't vote no on this entire thing, as far as I'm concerned, is not doing the right thing. But all the rest of them have a giant cord attached to the back of their head, and anytime Jazel says anything, they go. You know, so we're going to get another job to do something they've had 30 years to do, and they've been dismal failures. The economy today in Fall River is the worst it's ever been. Absolutely, we have gone from, you know, the third or fourth worst city in the state. We've managed to have the highest percentage of people living below the poverty line, the lowest educational level, you know, the lowest household income, the lowest individual income, per capita income. You know, we're leading in every negative category: drugs, crime, you name it, we lead it. Positive, we're at the bottom. We're in the basement with a foundation. So, and you know, and all these $100,000 a year jobs. I mean, well, heaven forbid we learn from the rest of the world. Germany's had the greatest apprenticeship program, and I've said it a zillion times, greatest apprentice program on the planet. They've had it for 50 years. In Germany, they pluck kids out of high school. They give them tests. They see what they see where they have aptitudes. They channel those people in. They have agreements with companies. I told you about the guy I ran into at a Dunkin' Donuts. We were talking about apprenticeship. I was talking to somebody, and the guy said, oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. He said, but I'm from Germany, and I was a product of the German apprenticeship program, because you heard me talking about German apprenticeship program. There's a guy they trained, works for a major German company. It was in the United States. They were opening up a subsidiary in the United States, and he was here to consult. You know, they don't have to tell me. I know. I was stationed in Germany for a while. I know people German exchange students who came here talking about their programs. They're terrific. You think we could ever adopt anything that actually works? No, this is all political. This is all about, we went from the Fiolas controlling it and making a ton of money. Now that Jazel wants his people making a ton of money. Now they're going to hire a new director to make a whole bunch of money. And then the next mayor will hire the next guy and the next guy, and nothing will ever get done. If that happened in private industry, that business would be out of business. That's the great thing about government. The government is the antithesis of private industry. The more incompetent they are, the more money they get. You run under budget in the government, what do? They cut your budget.
That's right.
If you run over budget, what do? Give you more money.
They appropriate
I
more.
saw it when I worked for the federal government, and I see it every day in Fall River. The answer in government to everything is to throw more money at it, and the people throwing the money, they're not actually throwing it, they're trying to hang on to it as it escapes from their wallet. But it's our money, and the people who are getting our money to implement all these useless and dead-end programs that then they use as justification to create another program of political hacks and appointees.
Hey, somebody's got to get them, right?
I mean, if this doesn't anger you, but, well, hey, then again, what do you got for politicians? So what's the next one? Rhode Island candidate for governor arrested, seized 48 pounds of pot. Ann Armstrong, the Compassion Party's candidate. It's a good name anyway. You're always in a good mood, I guess. She's always in a good mood. Face new drug charges. So I guess
if you want to be governor and attorney general, you got to sell pot.
it says she is a leader of a Christian sect that uses marijuana in religious services. I guess that's kind of like the Rastafarians, right?
Yep.
And so she uses it, but I guess she uses a lot of it. She must be a chain smoker. She had 48 pounds of pot, so. Yeah. Hey, elect her. She can't be any worse than what you got.
She's probably better. And she doesn't like to call it marijuana. She wants you to call it
Are we
cannabis.
open for business Monday?
No, we're not.
We
Monday
are not.
We have no show, so we won't see you until Wednesday.
It is the guy who didn't discover America's Day.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy yourself and stay angry.
Stay angry.